Hello everyone, this is Lexicon Architect, and for today's commander we're going to be looking at Minsc Boo, Timeless Hero, a 4-mana Gruul legendary planeswalker that says when it ETBs or at the beginning of your upkeep you may create Boo, a legendary 1/1 red hamster creature token with trample and haste, and for its +1 ability you can put up to 3 1/1 counters on target creature with trample or haste, and then if we really need to we can -2 our commander to sacrifice a creature and deal X damage to any target, where X is that creature's power. And if the sacrificed creature was a hamster, it allows us to draw X cards. So let's think about it. If we can get counters on our Boo, pump it up several times, and then if we need a card draw, we can just -2 our commander and draw that many cards, or we could just deal damage to any target. We do have a lot of creatures in this deck that get really big, so it's going to allow us to basically fling them at our opponent and get the last bit of damage through to win the game. So at mana value 1, we have several Mana Dorks and Birds of Paradise, Elvish Mystic, Finehorn Elves, and Landwar Elves. We play Hardened Scale to double up on our 1/1 counters, and Tamiyo Safekeeping and Tyvar Stand to protect our creatures. At mana value 2, we have Goblin Monarch Mancer that makes our red and green spells cost 1 less to cast. We have Gyre Sage to help us ramp, and if we do put counters on it, it's going to give us more mana. Play Heroic Intervention to protect our board state. We play Incubation Druid to ramp us. And if we do put a counter on it, it's going to generate 3 mana for us instead of 1. We play Inscription of Abundance to either put counters on a creature, gain life, or fight another target creature that we don't control. Then we have cards like Rampant Growth and Nature's Lord to help us ramp. And then we have Removal and Ram Through. Main value 3, we have Champion of the Lambholt. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield in your control, you put a 1/1 counter on it. And creatures with power less than Champion of Lambholt's power cannot block creatures you control. So if we continue to pump this up, it's going to make all of our other creatures unblockable. Then we play cards like Colossal Majesty, that at the beginning of our upkeep, if we control a creature with power 4 or greater, we get to draw a card. Then we play cards like Cultivate and Entis Restoration to help us ramp, same along with Kodama's Reach. Then let's talk about Kodama of the West Tree. Modified creatures control have trample, so this is good because it allows us to spread out counters with our commander to our creatures. And then if a modified creature you control deals combat damage to a player, search your library for a basic land card and put it onto the battlefield tab, then shuffle. So it's very good because it's going to allow us to thin our deck, get our lands out onto the battlefield, and allow us to play more cards. And then let's talk about Teray and Mauler, a 3-mana changeling that says whenever an opponent casts a spell, they put a 1/1 counter on it. And this works good with our commander because if we do -2 this ability while it's huge, we can fling it at our opponents. So if it's a 15/15, for example, we use our commander's -2 ability, sacrifice this creature, and then deal that much damage to any target. At mana value 4, we have Beast Whisperer to help us draw cards whenever we cast a creature spell. Guardian Project to draw us cards whenever a creature ETBs under our control. Helana Elena to spread counters out and give a creature haste. And then we have Harmonize to draw cards, Toski to draw cards, and then Thundering Raiju to deal damage to each opponent for the number of modified creatures you control other than Thundering Raiju. Mana value 5, we have Defiler of Vigor that makes green permanents cost 1 less to cast if you pay life with Phyrexian mana. And then whenever you cast a green permanent spell, you put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Then we have cards like Overwhelming Stampede to help us win late game, because at the end of your turn, creatures control gain trample and get XX, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. And then we play Unnatural Growth to double the power and toughness of each of our creatures during each combat step. So it doesn't have to only be our combat step. This does trigger on our opponent's turn. Then at mana value 6, we have Guff Triplets to generate 2 Guff Triplets. And then when Guff Triplets die, you put a number of 1/1 counters equal on it, equal to its power on each creature you control named Guff Triplets. Then we have Rishkard's Expertise to help us draw cards and cast a spell with mana value 5 or less from our hand without paying its mana cost. And then lastly, we have Trumpeting Carnosaur, a 6 mana trampler with Discover 5. So we reveal cards from the top of our library until we hit a permanent with converted mana cost 5 or less, and we can either play that card for free or put it into our hand. And then it does also act as a removal spell for 3 mana. We can discard it to deal 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker. Then we have Zoprandrel to double the power and toughness of each creature you control during each of our combat steps. Oh, every combat step, I'm sorry. And then for 2 Phyrexia mana, you can sacrifice 2 other creatures to put an indestructible counter on it. Then mana value 8, City on Fire with Convoke, so this spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature you tap while casting this spell. And if a source you control will deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals triple that damage instead. And then at mana value 9, we have Blasphemous Act as a board wipe for us. And then lastly, mana value 12, we have Galta, which most of the time is just going to only cost us 2 mana to cast. It's a 12/12 with trample, and it's a big old body. For utility lands, we have Castle Garenbrig to help us ramp into our creatures. Then we have Reliquary Tower just to make sure if we do have excess cards in our hand, we don't have to discard them. Then we have Reckless Ridgeline to you can animate it for 4 to make a 3/4 red and green diner creature token. And then when it attacks another creature, another target attack creature gets +2/+0 to the end of the turn. It gets to untap it. Then we have Mosswork Bridge with Hideaway 4, and then Spine Rock Knoll with Hideaway 4 as well. So if we do reach the Hideaway ability, we tap the mana for each of these, and we can cast the card that is under this for free. So this deck is going to cost you $329. If you like this style of content, please hit the subscribe button. It will be the little icon on the bottom right of my YouTube video, and I hope you have a good day.